Splatoon 2 is a fun game where you are a humanoid squid, or if you bought a $20 DLC, that's worth it by the way, a humanoid octopus that shoots around with their ink to cover as much turf as possible. And wow, now that I say it out loud, it sounds quite weird, doesn't it? Anyway, what I want to talk about today is the story mode of Splatoon 2, or rather the final boss of it. And major spoiler warning if you didn't play either of the games, and I don't know how you managed to be spoiler free to this point though, but I suggest you not watching this video if you still want to play each of the games. Oh, and keep in mind that this will be my personal opinion here, so if you have a different opinion, that's perfectly fine. Just be nice to everyone, okay? All good? Let's go. So as you can guess from the title, I will talk about how much the final boss from Splatoon 2 sucks compared to Splatoon 1's final boss fight, since it always felt for me that it was lacking something. You know, I'm not saying it's bad per se, but replaying it after replaying the first game and therefore fighting the final boss, I need to say that I really like the one from the first game way more. But why is that so? Well, there are multiple factors in play here, but let's recap the bosses first, starting with the first one, obviously. The boss fight from the first game was built up from the end of the second area of Octo Valley all the way towards the final encounter. The fight starts off with Captain Cuttlefish warning us that's all a trap, but you know, as a protagonist we have to face that DJ? DJ Octavio is one of the most creative boss designs I've ever seen. I mean, it's literally a octopus DJ that uses wasabi on his turntable to attack you with all sorts of crazy attacks. And this dialogue during the fight is so over the top that it's too amazing for me to not laugh at some. The best examples are Slimy Little Hipster and I'm going to remix your face. But the fight is more than just fancy and yet ridiculous dialogue, since it's the longest fight in the whole game, maybe even in the entire franchise, spanning a whopping 15 minutes at the very least, and if that sounds like a lot, well, that's because it is. This fight is quite a challenge for inexperienced and, well, maybe even some better players, I guess. What prevents this fight from getting boring is a constant change of location you're in, since each phase is on a different part of the map. The fight also gets harder with each phase, which I and probably many others got to know very quickly. But how exactly doesn't it get boring? Well, each phase has its own little quote-unquote challenge. The first phase is pretty slow, and yes, I did die there once, don't judge me. The second one adds the killer whale, which kills you instantly if you have no armor. And the third phase brings these little ball thingies that spawn enemies. And the fourth one is just harder and faster, and I swear to god the last bomb is a rude mofo. The last phase is surprisingly the easiest for me, since it has a decent pace and difficulty until you're at the very end, where Octavio blasts everything at you at incredible speeds. Incredible. Funny. Plus during all phases he shoots these little thingies at you, which can get quite annoying over time. Also the scenery around you is pretty interesting. There are these kind of speaker looking mechanic tentacles and the overall glow of everything, especially in the last phase, which just looks like a rave party. And the music is about perfection. I Am Octavio is a great song that actually fits as a boss theme. And I think I said enough about Calamari Incantation. It's such an amazing song and surprisingly fits for the final phase of a boss fight. Also alternative dialogue when you find the boss again. Yay! On the other end, we have the final boss fight against Octavio in Splatoon 2. It has a much more limited area to fight on, being a literal flat circle, and without the whole jump and run segment from the first game, one of the best things about it gets lost. Your ability to move around a huge and varying area. The background is also pretty bland. Yes, I know it fits the style of the fight, but I really just don't like that. Not even the monitors, which you can see Kelly, Marie, or in the last phase even both dancing, doesn't help that. DJ Octavio's moveset is somehow worse. Like, how can he break such a simple yet effective moveset? I mean, you still need to reflect his fists, which I can live with, but due to the fact that you can still attack them when they're in the ground is just plain stupid. Like, why? He has these ball thingies that create a whirl that doesn't really affect you as long as you stay away from it, which is very easy. He also has two types of bomb attacks, which are normal yet bigger splat bombs, and suction bombs, which are mildly annoying but not really threatening if you have the ground at least a little bit inked to move around. And last but not least, he has that shower attack, and you know whose idea was that? It's so damn easy to avoid, just move to the left or to the right and you're safe. The moveset for this fight could have been so much better, and that's just what makes me kinda mad. The final phase, in my opinion, is only good because of the music. I mean, it's just a circle of these grind rails, nothing more and nothing less. Yes, you have the Rainmaker, which you need to reflect his fists with, but is that really worth it? The only thing that saves this boss in my eyes is the music, which is pretty damn great. Not as fitting for a boss fight as in the last game, but I love it nonetheless. And the cutscenes, oh my god, they are great. Especially the one that transitions into the final phase, where Callie and Marie are together on that flying truck thingy, singing the best Splatoon song in the franchise. I still like the one from the first game more, but this one is great, not gonna lie. Fight me. That's what I have to give this boss fight, it's really damn cinematic. Talking about the music in just a little bit more detail, I'm saying that Bomb Rush is decent in its own right, not my favorite, but meh. Title Rush is so great that it even made it on my top 5 Splatoon songs list, which I suggest you watching by the way. And Spice Calamari Incantation, while not as good as the one from the first game in my eyes, is one of the best songs this game has to offer. And another thing to note would be that if you play this boss fight again, there's extra dialogue, which is just hilarious. And I can describe it in 3 words. Fourth wall breaking. And that makes for some really funny dialogue. But sadly the DJ Octavio boss fight from the second game suffered too much on the gameplay side. The first one was really impressive and innovative, but the one from the second game tried too hard to focus on music and cutscenes and forgot the gameplay in the process. It really could have been great if they had a little bit more, well, not a flat arena, more attacks for Octavio and make the fight a little bit harder. I'm not trying to be too negative here, but after playing through the first game I noticed how different the story mode overall is, which affects the boss fight as well. Splatoon 2 is a truly great game, improving over the first one in a few points, but the story mode and the boss fight really could have been much better. That's it from me, and until the next video, goodbye.